Hey y'all, welcome back to Astrovision, Spirituality, and Tarot. So today we will be discussing the worst zodiac signs that you could potentially become enemies with. So coming in strong at number one would definitely have to be Aries, okay? These aren't the people to mess with, and you would not want them as an enemy because they're quick on their feet, they're physically violent, and they're very direct. These are the type of people that could be like a dog to a cat. You know, they're instantly chasing down their enemies and they're running them down. If they see you outside, they're catching you and it's on site. So just know if you have beef with an Aries, it's on site every single time. That's just how they are. They're initiators and they love to start things. They love to be the leader. So if you're the type of person to run your mouth, you're not competitive, you're not going to throw them hands, be careful because the Aries will run up on you if you're talking too much. You know what I'm saying? They can be the type. There are some Aries out there that's all rah-rah and they love to talk the tough talk, and maybe they don't throw their hands. They could just be a little more feisty and love to just spice things up and talk that tough talk. But there are some Aries out here that will knock you out flat on your back, flat on your chest, and you won't even see it coming, or you will see it coming because they're very direct, you know what I'm saying? And they're blunt in a way to where they'll single you out and they'll specifically tell you to run it up, you know what I'm saying? To line it up. If you don't know how to block, you better get ready, you better prepare because they're gonna run down on you. Another thing that Aries are known for in general is just being very quick and moving too fast. So a lot of Aries, especially if they're in a car and they see their enemy, they're gonna chase their enemy down. You know what I'm saying? They're going to hop behind the car and they're going to try to run that person off of the road or speed up real close to them and intimidate them. This is something that an Aries very much so can do. Also, since they are very quick, these people are impatient. So they may not even wait to put their hands on you sometimes. Sometimes they may be too mad and the feeling is just too intense for them that the next best thing for them is arson. You know what I'm saying? Going out and committing some arson. So these people definitely will light your things on fire. They'll burn the house down. They'll burn the album book of pictures that you guys took together. And especially if you're an enemy, they're not going to care. They will set flames to your birthday party and they will not care. You know what I'm saying? They're going to wait for you to run up. And for anyone that has beef with the Aries, just know they are good at extinguishing flames, especially the ones that they create themselves. So just be careful with an Aries because they do have the potential to detonate fires and they will destroy their enemies' cars and their enemies' belongings. And it's the second next best thing to them, especially if they cannot physically have that one-on-one with their enemy. And also Aries, you know, they're ruled by Mars, so these people are very good with combat. They're very good with using their hands. These people are also good with defending themselves with tools and devices such as weapons. So you just have to be a little more careful at picking your battles wisely when it comes to beefing with an Aries and potentially making them as an enemy because it can get real dangerous with an Aries for sure. Aries are the type of people to keep the beef going. They love to intensify things. They're very passionate about moving and keeping that adrenaline rushing. So every time that they see an enemy of theirs, it's gonna heat them up. They're gonna get mad all over again and it's gonna be a big thing. So Aries are definitely one of the zodiac signs out of my list that you would not want to make as an enemy because these people will handle your ass. Now, the sign that I have here for number 2 for sure would have to be Aquarius, and that just deals with Aquarius being all inclusive. They're all about groups. So these people aren't good when it comes to that one-on-one. Now, don't get me wrong, Aquariuses can for sure handle their own battles, and in fact, they are leaders and they tend to be the leaders of their friend group, and I'm going to get to that in a minute. This is why I put Aquarius after Aries for that fact in particular. They're not good at the one-on-one, so these people will for sure jump their enemy with a group of people. Will pull up with their friends or whatever clan or group or event that they're a part of, and they will have other people attack for them. And they'll do this all in the name of other people having to prove loyalty to this Aquarius person. So an Aquarius may not even have to touch their enemy. They may not have to even do anything because they have a handful of friends who are going to do it. Another reason why Aquarius is one of the worst signs to have as an enemy is just because they're all about thrills. They're all about that shock culture. And so these people can go out of their way to create some aha moments. And they love to embarrass and humiliate other people. So jumping someone, kicking someone out of a group, exiling them out of a group to make them feel small, inviting someone somewhere to like an event and then low-key you're planning to jump them. That's all a part of how a dark-sided Aquarius can give it up, and this is something that they could potentially do. So if you're an enemy of an Aquarius, just know that these people are connected. They're well respected amongst the groups that they're a part of, and since they tend to be the leader, they can initiate some drama and get their friends to defend them and get their friends to attack you. It's not out of the character for an Aquarius to plan an event and then invite their enemy to that event and then turn around and jump them. That's something that is a part of their behavior, especially on that darker end, at that lower vibration. This is something that an Aquarius very much so can do because they surround themselves around a bunch of groupies. Similar to their opposite sign, Leo, these people love to be amongst groups. They're very social and they're active when it comes to socializing with other people. Another reason why you would not want an Aquarius as an enemy of yours, an op, or anything like that to where they want to seek out some vengeance on you is because anything that they can do to intensify that moment between you guys, if you do have some beef with an Aquarius, these are the type of people to expose you online. They will reveal some tea on you. And this is the type of tea that will have the block hot and mouths will be dropped. Okay? And this is because if you're an enemy of an Aquarius, they will do anything in their power to humiliate you and embarrass you. You know, this sign opposes Leo. So since these signs oppose each other, they have a lot of similarities. And Leo tends to be the star of the show. And a downside to Leo is that they can humiliate others as well. And Aquarius very much so can do that as well. They can single you out, exile you out of groups, ban you, shun you, shame you, and have everyone else step on your ass and make you feel small. You know what I'm saying? That's what an Aquarius could do. So having them as an enemy very much so can go left real quick. So yeah, that's why, you know, you got to be careful with an Aquarius, and they definitely aren't the type to go back and forth with you. They'll have their friend go back and forth with you. They'll have their cousin go back and forth with you. They'll have their bestie, whoever else other than them handle the situation because, you know, they're quick. They're always moving on to an adventure, and to them, you're not important. So an Aquarius will handle you through the guides of other people, so you got to be careful with them because you never know who they know. Now, coming in at number 3 on my list would have to be Pisces. And this is because Pisces have spiritual protection. And trust me, I know because I have a Pisces moon, and I've done, you know, had experiences with other Pisces people and having people try to do things to me, and, you know, in return, they have to face that karma or face that guilt and that shame. But let's talk about that. So Pisces, you know, they can be some of the most emotionally unstable people. And Pisces, you know, they're also artistically gifted, and they have some instinctively gifts as well pertaining to spirituality and mysticism and all of those things. But a Pisces, when pushed to the edge, can turn extremely violent and murderous. So these people have that potential, and especially since they're heavily influenced by the energy of Neptune. You know what I'm saying? Pisces are protected spiritually, so when their enemies think that they're going to get over on them by stealing from them or lying to them, cheating to them, or just doing anything vicious like that, a Pisces will have their ancestors or their spirit guides on the defense for them already. You know what I'm saying? And that similar energy that someone's trying to project onto a Pisces will be returned back to them on that spiritual side for messing with them. And Pisces tend to be very empathetic people. They don't do anything to hurt other people. Now, you do have some Pisces that are dark-sided, and so their minds could be a little distorted, and they could be on that more evil side and do a little bit more of vicious things. But 9 times out of 10, these people don't bother others. It just so happens that since Pisces are very gullible, and since they're strongly empathetic, other people can see this and sense this, and especially narcissists, people that are, very about themselves and selfish, they will manipulate and pull strings on the Pisces and abuse them, use them, and torture them, and do things like that, because Pisces tend to be devoted and giving so much empathy out to other people and just the world in general. So messing with a Pisces, if you draw blood from a Pisces and you're their enemy, blood's gonna be drawn from you. Spirit's gonna make sure that happens. If you're doing anything malicious to them, Spirit's just gonna get you back on that karmic side, on that spiritualistic side. You're gonna be returned that energy that you were trying to cast on them. And this can even play out through generations. This is where you could see generation curses happening with a Pisces and someone trying to really cause a lot of trauma on this person. Like, for example, if someone was to sexually abuse a Pisces, the next generation of their family, very much so, like their next bloodline could be getting assaulted, violated, and Spirit's gonna make sure that that's paid for it to that person. If Pisces has to go throughout their life facing this trauma because this happened to them earlier on in life, that person, whoever did that, pray for their daughter, pray for their daughter's daughter, pray for their daughter's daughter, because you should have never did that. Now Spirit's taking that out on you until that debt is repaid. So Pisces are some of the most protected people. Making them as an enemy, very much so, could result to you suffering. It could result to you feeling a lot of shame. You could have nightmares. You could just have a whole bunch of guilt and a lot of pressure on you for whatever you did to them. So messing with a Pisces will make you regret it. And again, these people are very empathetic. They tend to mind their own business, and when they do get involved with other people's situations, they're trying to help them. They're trying to heal them. They're not trying to hurt them, unless they're like a dark-sided Pisces. So making a Pisces as an enemy very much so can lead down a disastrous path for their enemy. So for number 4, I have Scorpio on this list, and this is because Scorpios can suck you completely dry of everything that you got and claim ownership over anything that they think you don't personally value. Since they're the opposite side of Taurus, they can sense things that people devalue and destroy them even more. So if you're having relationship problems or anything like that, you start to get on that bad side to where maybe you and your partner have to take a break, a Scorpio can sneak in and manipulate their way into taking your partner and claiming your partner for themselves. So these are the type of people to possess ownership over other people's items. And they also will dig deep into who you are as a person and get some dirt on you. And when they reveal it, it very much so could damage your reputation. It could destroy you. It could cause a lot of damage upon you because they could reveal things that you may not have even known about yourself, just because they're very intense. And when they focus in on investigating and figuring out things, they tend to find out some very traumatic things, but they find the beauty within it. And it's very dark. So having a Scorpio as your enemy very much so could result in your death. Similar to a Pisces, these people have some spiritualistic gifts as well. And a Scorpio very much so could hit a person where it hurts, physically, but also emotionally. And they'll do it on an intense level. So a Scorpio very much so could purchase their enemies' belongings. Maybe their enemies' grandparents had like an estate sale, or their parents had to auction the home, something like that. A Scorpio will purchase those belongings in that estate sale, and they will hold it over their enemy's head just because they know that these items have some emotional value to that person. They very much so could destroy the items and throw it in that person's face. A Scorpio would purchase the family home. They'll purchase your childhood home and probably bulldoze it. They'll burn it down. They may even leave it up and turn it into a spot for squatters, a spot for junkies, just because they don't like you. You know what I'm saying? Scorpios, if they don't like a person, they will intensify that point. Also, if you have a Scorpio as an enemy, then again, this could very much so result in your own death. These people, you have to be careful around them because they're the type to be known for seeking out vengeance, and they're successful at it 9 times out of 10. So a Scorpio can have these intense impulses to get revenge, and it's a part of their nature. This is how they give it up. And one of the ways that they could do that is through water, especially since they're a water sign. So any type of substance that requires water or the transformation to be intensified through water, like anything poisonous, will be potentially useful to a Scorpio. And they could have an impulse to get you back anytime, any place, anywhere. So going into a cave with them, a tunnel, a basement, anywhere like that, down some dark alleys at night, nothing. I would not do it because, again, they have that urge to seek out vengeance, and it's natural to them. So this is why Scorpio is at number 4 on this list. And the final sign that you would not want as an enemy at all, period, is going to be Capricorn. And this is because Capricorns tend to be the most respected out of the other signs that we just discussed. And out of the 12 zodiac signs in general, Capricorns tend to be the most respected. These people have the potential to build some respectable relationships with people who really control things and really, are some movers and shakers in the world. So messing with a Capricorn, I would not recommend it, and you would not want them as an enemy. These are the type of people to really focus on their own lives, and they take pride in minding their own business. And with that being said, a Capricorn, they pick their battles wisely. You know what I'm saying? They don't have a lot of enemies, or no, I take that back. In fact, they do have a lot of enemies, and that's just because people don't tend to respect this energy until later. So playing on the playground, going up through high school, going out through college, making your way throughout the workforce, a Capricorn could build a lot of enemies because people can naturally be jealous of their work ethic. People could be jealous on how diligent they are when it comes to following the rules and the regulations in work. And, Capricorns are the type to call the police on someone. They're the type to snitch if you're doing something that's out of line. And Capricorns can make a lot of haters in that way, and they could have a lot of enemies just because they're naturally prone to following the rules and abiding by what is set in place and what is structured. So they can have a lot of enemies for this reason. But the good thing about a Capricorn is that they're wise enough to know which people are actually a threat to them. You know what I'm saying? A Capricorn is capable of understanding out of all of their enemies, there's only a few that are potentially a threat to them. So a Capricorn won't give any day or shine any light on their haters. You know what I'm saying? For them, their success is your punishment. You're just going to have to watch them climb to the top. And that will be the biggest punishment to any single one of their enemies. But the main reason why they're at the top of this list is because they don't have to do much. They avoid their enemies. Capricorns are all about obtaining that control, and they can obtain control over their enemies through various ways. Capricorns will do this by using legal protection, getting a restraining order on their enemies, and they can restrict their enemies from being in certain zip codes that they're in at certain times. They can restrict them from being a part of the local community. They can restrict them from being a part of a sector or a unit within the office that they're working in or the corporation that they're a part of. A Capricorn will hit someone with that pink slip. A Capricorn will have those connections to where you'll get an email talking about you've been moved to another division. You know what I'm saying? Capricorns have those heavy-hitting connections, and this will piss an enemy off because you'll always be blocked when you think you can fuck with them and you think you can seek some vengeance out on them, you'll always be blocked and restricted in some type of way. A Capricorn very much so can sue their enemies for everything that they have, and even if their enemy doesn't have much, a Capricorn could still extend the legal process and punish their enemies and consequence them with like a ton of financial problems, a ton of legal problems. And a Capricorn will hold their head high gracefully because they know for a fact you don't got it and you're wasting your time beefing with them. You're really beefing with yourself. So messing with the Capricorn very much so will not go in your favor if you're an op of theirs or you guys are enemies. Going back and forth with them, they really can prolong the situation and make this beef or whatever drama that you guys have, they can prolong it and make it last years and keep it going on, and it'll be a slow process. Also, if the situation is too deep with the Capricorn to a point where maybe it's deadly, maybe there's harm involved, these are the type of people to hire professional assistance like an assassin or, police force or military personnel, because they can afford that stuff. And even if they can't afford it, they have those connections. You know what I'm saying? They've done built those relationships with people. So they can seek out their vengeance on their enemy through these connections that they have. And again, Capricorns can have some strong, heavy-hitting connections. And these people will go as low to getting their enemies fired off jobs. They'll leverage their power and respect to get their enemies removed from projects that they're a part of. So that is why you do not want a Capricorn as an enemy. You do not want to be beefing with these people because they can go as low to ruining your reputation by indirectly revealing things about you and who you truly are. And a Capricorn does this by not giving their enemies a reaction. You know what I'm saying? When their enemies take action upon them, they'll just keep producing consequences. They'll just keep hitting their enemies with these heavy consequences until their enemy learns to back off and fight a different battle, because you potentially won't win trying to fight and beef with a Capricorn. So that was some of my top picks out of the 12 zodiac signs of which ones that I potentially view as the worst to have as an enemy. And I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. And maybe you are one of the zodiac signs that I discussed about today and you can relate to some of this. And if you are, definitely feel free to comment below. I will very much so appreciate that. Also, leave this video a like and subscribe if you want. And just stay tuned for more videos, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Thank you for watching.